Thank you, Larry. Thank you for the fun challenge of being one of the last to have a presentation. It means I have spent all sorts of time listening to great presentations, and I have way too many more things that I would like to say and no more time to do it in. I recognize that. I do want to make one small, I'm actually in my capacity at Concordia, I'll be doing research on sabbatical officially starting Sunday, and the millennial study that Vice President Murray was mentioning is actually, I'm one of the researchers working on that, and I want to provide a slight bit of nuance to some of his comments. When he's talking in terms of relationship, he's nailing it. But when you're understanding the idea of the doctrinal, the lack of doctrinal impact, understand that in the context of relationship, that when you have those long-term relationships, long pastorates, as well as having youth staff that are a part of that relational, the disagreements that do rise up with regard to doctrine and social issues are less impactful with regard to a young person's desire to be a part of the church. So I just want to draw a connection point between those two as a critical piece of the things that we are working on and the resourcing that we're trying to develop in as a part of that. I know, having said that, some of you look at this and you look at the size of your congregations and you look at the number of youth and children in your congregations and you are concerned. And you wonder, how can we provide for them? And as a district, we want to be able to resource as well as possible for that. And I want to put forward one idea that is, there's a graduate, Brenda Segovia, who's a great student. I loved having her in class. She is a DCE serving in the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas and serves a network of 12 congregations and is doing a fantastic job. I spoke to a missions worker in the Texas district just earlier this month, simply mentioned Brenda's name, and she's doing such a fantastic job. I would love to see us doing things in a similar manner, picking up on President Stoddard and your comments from Wednesday in the way in which we band together and work together across congregational lines to be able to say, you can do ministry in a creative fashion, and thinking, if my individual congregation cannot manage this, we together can do so. And I would love to work on things in that nature with you. You can look at the ministry she is a part of if you go to the website riomac.org. That will give you some information on that, or simply contact me on this. Through the District Youth Committee, chaired by Pastor Seth Moorman, we now have 5 annual district youth events, and the likely hopeful return of a district-wide high school district youth gathering targeted for January 2020. We also are doing these high school through preteen. We've been doing a preteen event, the Summit, for a number of years now, and are having conversation about replicating the Summit in Las Vegas. As a district youth committee, we try to elevate and have high school youth be part of the work and the planning that we do, bringing them on board with the teams that prep for these events. If you have high school youth that you say they have leadership potential, we want to connect with them. We want to get them connected with some of our local planning teams so they can speak into what we are doing as a district ministry. We partner also with Orange Nation, which is the young adult volunteers from the National Youth Gathering. They meet and have had summer servant events on off gathering years, and we support that as a district. Those have taken place both within our district, and as this summer, it will be taking place next month in Detroit. Earlier this month, we held a teen leadership training for high school youth, helping them to learn how to communicate the faith to their peers, especially in times of transition. We had 30 participants that came and took part in that, and I'm hoping that this will become a springboard for further training of our young people, raising up leaders so that they can connect and, as I said, participate, lend their voice to the planning and the work and the vision for what we do in youth and family ministry within this district. We will, speaking of the LCMS Youth Gathering, we will again, as a district, be participating with that, offering pre-gathering events to gather groups together so that they are able to participate together with one another, connect with each other. It's a great opportunity, especially when it's a volunteer mom or dad who is taking the high school group because I want my kids to go. It's the context that I grew up in a small church. And for them to connect with other groups as they are going and get prepared for the gatherings. We'll be doing pre-gathering events and partnering with the Northwest CNH and our district together to do, we're working on an event together at the district, at the gathering, to bring us all together. In February, we were able to bring back a conference that has not been held for a few years. We had a great tradition of a tri-district DCE conference. And we were able to have that the first time in about a decade. And we met prior to best practices in Phoenix, had 70 DCEs and DCE types in attendance, heard from Matt Popovits and Bill Karpenko as speakers, and had the pleasure of having all three of our district presidents participate and offer devotions, which was very much appreciated by those in attendance. And I thank you again for your participation and support in that. As we are moving forward, we're looking, Rachel Klitzing and I are working on putting a team together and have basically formed it, looking to put on a children and family ministry conference in about 2 years, in June of 2020. So there are cards on the table that you have seen outside that has the dates June 16th to 18th, 2020 on the campus of Concordia University. We hope that that will be a catalyst for further work in family ministry so that we are able to provide some of the additional support in the same way that we come alongside doing youth ministry to raise up more on the family ministry side and perhaps putting a family ministry committee together that will support and walk alongside your congregations as you seek to minister to children, to youth, and to their families. A final area in which that I have begun serving, we had a survey a couple of years ago. The church work family needs assessment was done, and many of you participated in that, and we received the data back, and it's some rich data to it. For those of you who are the participants in that, I thank you for that. But we are working, and we have put together a new task force, because of course in a district you always need new task forces, but we do. One focusing on church worker care. We have had a long-standing salary guideline task force. We have had a long-standing church work recruitment and retention task force. But one of the things that I learned as I'm working with the recruitment of church workers, if we don't have healthy, satisfied, engaged church workers who love what they're doing and are seen by young people who look to them and say, "Pastor looks excited on Sunday. It must be fun to be a pastor." To look at their teacher and say, "Wow, she looks so excited in the classroom. I wonder what that would be like." To see their DCE and the excitement they bring and go, "That's what I want to do." See, I had a couple of guys in my life that's what I was able to look at. And I saw excited church workers. I even saw my father, not all the time excited, but plenty of the time excited as a Lutheran principal. And he was able to instill in me a desire to say, nope, that is something I want to be able to do. If we can support our workers so that they feel appreciated and loved and cared for, I'm not going to worry about recruiting. that becomes easy. So we have launched a few initiatives. If you look, I need to point this one out most specifically and offer an apology, and I'll do this publicly. Rachel Klitzing was supposed to be on my report as a member of that task force, and what a brilliant move to omit your boss from that report. She was supposed to have been on there. Apologies again. But we have launched, we've had at the table a demo of a soft launch for our website that we are using to help support and provide resources. I've contacted a few of you to help write some of those resources, reaching out to leaders across our synod to write some of these resources. I've talked to a few people here who have said, here's a part of my story and here's ways in which the church has uplifted and helped me. I want to hear those stories so we can share those ways in which lay people can help and support and care and love on their church workers. It's a pleasure to work and serve in this district. I love doing so. I love partnering with you. The work that we do from the youth committee focuses and works on gathering us together as across congregations, across regions, so that we can make a priority and say the health of our workers is important. Emerging generations, children, youth, families, they are important. We want to lift them up and give them that support. As you have ideas, thoughts, some of you who know me know that I wander around coming up with more creative ideas than I have any possible time to accomplish, but I don't mind having more. Join us, be a part of this. We welcome it, and President Stodero, I want to offer a thank you, as many have, but the last 7 years serving with you has been a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.